So, what's next? We have 2 for H2, and the part is number 10. H 2. Oh, ha, yay! This is one of the really neat things about these mega size kits. You'll see it just in a second. We need 2 H2s. So we have 2 H2s. And we're also going to need PC6. Now the PC runner is this rubbery, you can see it's really soft rubber. This serves as kind of the, I don't know, the friction between the joints. You'll see there's little teeth inside of some of them. So they have a ratchet. I don't know if you can even make that out. Anyway, they'll have like a ratcheting kind of feel to it. But every joint will get one of these, and you actually get 2 of them, 2 of the same sprue. So we're going to need PC6. So again, the number of the runner is PC, and number 6 is here. Looks like a whole bank of them. You'll find that you use a lot of these over and over and over. There's a ton of number 1s. This whole side isn't part number 1, so you're going to use a ton of them. All of these in a row are number 6. So you can cut these off if you want. I find if you just spin them, you don't get much. I mean, there's a little bit of a nub there, but you know, it doesn't really make much difference for these parts. And we need 10. So H2, number 10. That's number 10. It tells you right there. Number 10. All right, where'd my cutters go? I don't know if I mentioned, but when you're using the cutters, you'll notice there's a flat side and a not flat side. You want that flat edge, you know, facing the piece, because that's going to give you a nice clean cut on the side that you're working. If you turn it the other way, it'll still cut, but you'll be left with a little triangle that's can be kind of hard to get rid of. So, number 10. Number 10. All right. Let's get these nubs cleaned off. Now, some of these, it can be hard to tell if you're going to see it. You know, parts like on the end of this right here, you're never going to see that because that goes inside to hold the joint. Like if this is the, like say this is the leg, this will slide in like that. So you're never going to see that one. I still knocked the nub down. Looks ugly when you paint it. These side nubs, you could potentially see. The top one you could potentially see. Just when the knee is bent, you never know what's going to be exposed. There we go. Actually, there's a bit of a, I don't know if you can make that out. There's a bit of a line that runs right down the center of the part. That's a mold mark or a mold line. That's where when they made the part, they had 2 halves that came together, and when the plastic filled in, there was a tiny little edge. That's what that is. You can't really make it out on this side because there's a little bit of detail. Kind of on that square, you can make it out. But over there, it's really kind of visible. And you can remove that if you want to. Really, you can probably sand most of them away. But, you know, I don't worry about it so much. If there's an ugly mold line, like say on a really prominent part, I may take the time to get rid of it. But once this thing's painted, who's going to be paying attention to the inside of the knee, you know? So I don't usually mess with them. You can if you want to, but you know, like I said, if it's on a part that you're going to see, then yeah. But No, not on the knee. So what do we do here for our instructions? Let me get this out of the way. So we take part 6, the PC6. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. Right? Take the 6, and then you'll see there's another little call out in the Japanese right here. Right? Little tick marks. It means hey, pay attention to this bit right here. So as you can see from the bigger picture, the little grooves on the side need to be facing, you know, kind of towards the right. Right, you'll see on the piece it has these, so you want it that direction. Can you see that? Right, make it look like the instruction book. And it's going to go into this piece. Just like that. Can you see that? Are you in focus? And like I said, that's going to be kind of the washer between the two pieces of knee. You'll see in a minute. All right, what's next? Step 4. All right, this is the cool thing I was talking about with the Bandai kits. They're oh wait, before we do that, we got to get the other knee. I'm skipping ahead. I'm getting excited. So we have I really got to get better about staying on camera. That's horrible. What's the point of you guys not being able to see it? And girls. Guys and girls. Alright, and we need another PC6. Like I said, you'll use these so much you'll know right where they are on the sprue. I've done a couple of these mega size, and they're really fun. I think they're kind of designed for, let's see, we got our orientation correctly, and that's going to go into the knee. Right. All right, so now we have 2 knees. All right, now finally the fun thing I was talking about with these mega size kits. Some of the parts you can build right on the sprue, and when you get done, it's basically a completed part. This is a good example of the knees. Another one is the elbows. We'll see that later on. So number 4, again, it's telling you 2 times. So you've got 2 of these. You got H1 and H2. And H2 is the same part we were just using. So you've got your parts, and when you go to build this piece, you'll end up sandwiched. Well, let's just build it. Let's just build it. I'm just yammering. All right, so we need more PC6s, and as it says up here, you'll need 2 of them. So we're going to go ahead and break off 2 6s. These are the ones over in the corner. Right. All right, so we need H1, and you can kind of tell the orientation. These posts are down here. So we take our 6s, and it's going to slot in. See the call out here again? It says the slot goes at the bottom. So you're going to orient it that way. And it slots right in. There's actually a little groove on one side. And where's our other H1? This one is the same thing, right? We're doing 2 of them. Where'd it go? Where are you? Doing 2 of them. So, same thing. That'll slide in. Alright. And then we need the part. See, it has a number 3, so that's saying what you built in step 3. You can't see that. Let me show it to you. The part you built in step 3 is now being used in step 5. That's what that little thing means. So we get our knee, and again they're saying pay attention. Pay attention to the orientation of that knee. It's very important when you go to put it on this part. So they're saying have these notches this way. And we've got our H1, so it's going to slide on just like this. Oh. Right. So that's where we are as a step 5. We got to do the other one. Make sure your part is facing the right way, like I almost just didn't do. And there we go. And you'll see with that rubber grommet in there, you've got a ratchet. You'll see it better in a minute. All right, so step 6. Are you on camera? Step 6. Get on camera. You're sandwiching the 2 pieces you made in 5 together. So, just get it to line up properly. Just like that. Give it a good squeeze. Make sure it's together. Good squeeze. Good squeeze. Alright, so now you have completed. These are ankles. And these are knees. Isn't that neat? I've never seen another kit that does that. Well, I've never seen another Bandai kit, Gunpla, that does that. It's really kind of cool. So then we can just snip these off. So these little corners, this is where you need your cutters. I don't know if you can see this, but they're kind of tight. Alright, and there, now we still got to clean up those little sprue marks, but you've got a finished knee, just like that. That's your knee joint. Now you can paint it all together, of course, but you know, be sure to like move it all the way one way, prime all this, give it a few minutes, bend it all the way the other way, and prime all that. Because if you just have it like this and you prime it, all these little joints will be exposed down in here. So all the way one way, spray it. All the way the other way after it's, you know, tacked off a bit, spray it. Same thing when you're painting, same thing when you're weathering, same thing when you're gloss coating or top coating. Yeah. Got it. That's the problem with assembling. But it's neat that right off the sprue we've got a finished joint, right? It's kind of neat. So let's get this thing cleaned up and on to the next bit. They're really not that bad. These mega size, the gates are really small. It's amazing what Bandai can do. A gate, if you're tuning into this, you probably know what a gate is. You've probably built a model before. If you haven't, little bit of terminology. Let me just grab a, this will probably kill the white balance, but terminology. The entire unit, right, is called a sprue or a runner or a tree. You'll see it called a lot of different things. I don't know what Bandai calls it because I can't read Japanese. I call them sprues. And then you'll have the gate, which is the connection of the part to the runner. And I'm off camera again. Connection of the part to the runner is this little bit of plastic right here. It's called a gate. And especially on these mega size, I don't know if you can, I'm trying to, can you see just how small the plastic is that holds the part on? It's, I mean, it's really tiny. So it, when it comes to cleaning them, makes it a lot easier. And there are some models, and even some Bandai stuff. I've done some of their Star Wars stuff, and you know they're not bad. The gates aren't bad, but they're a lot bigger than this. These are tiny. I mean, it's literally just kind of knock off a little bit of extra plastic and you're done. I've done some kits that the gates are horrible. Make you spend 3 days denubbing. Alright, did we sand this one? I don't think we did. Again, this is a knee joint. A lot of this is going to be covered over with armor. Armor goes here, leg goes there, so you're really only going to see kind of that much. I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing. This might be ridiculous. Anyway, but I still, you know, you're never going to see that nub. It's covered with armor. But I still like to knock them down, clean them up a little bit. Alright, so we have those, and oh, and that's not all. We have our ankles. We still got to take off. So we just made 4 parts all at one time. I think that's neat. I don't know if you think that's neat, let me know. If you don't think that's neat, well, that's fine too. Am I on camera? No, of course not. Sorry guys, girls, this is turning into a radio broadcast. Alright, so those 2 sprues are done. And again, these are good ones to keep. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Let me find a, see, like this one, it's got a round sprue, and most do, which is neat. You can make little poles, and you can make little handrails, and all kinds of neat stuff with that. But these are square. Can you see that? So you can make lots of neat stuff just by, I mean, just an example. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can cut the sprue on a straight edge and then sand it down, of course, and you know, shape it up. But that can be a little detail somewhere if you wanted to. You know, like just as an example, this is not something that I'm going to do, but you could cut this down and glue it in between there, and it would look like a, you know, maybe give it a little beveled edge so it swoops back. But you can make a little ridge or panel detail just with pieces of sprue. I mean, you cut off little teeny squares and just put like a square here and there, and it just looks like little technical detail. It's kind of neat. Give it a try. We might do some of that on this kit, as a matter of fact. Well, you know, now that I think about it, in the magazine, you know, that we showed you, they cut little bits of plastic card and put a second square. See how this foot has a little square in the back? They put a second square there and you know, you can put one across the front. It would just be a different, you know, a little added detail. Sometimes that stuff's neat, and these things are great for that. You know, like I said, you could cut off a little section and there could be, you know, a raised panel that goes right across, or you could cut off a little section and there could be a raised panel that goes to either side. There's so much you can do with them. I'll usually keep. I've got a bunch of sprues over in my over there. You know, just because you never know. You might. Hey, you know, this, it would look neat if there was a, you know, whatever, a panel here or whatever. So keep these. They're fun, and the round ones too. You know, you don't have to keep those too, because they make nice little flagpoles and or stuff like that. You know. All right. Anyway, back to the build. So now we can set that aside. These are, spoiler alert, these are going to end up being hips and elbows when we get to that part. But these are hips and these are elbows. This section here is an elbow. Kind of neat. We'll see it in a little while. All right. Ankles, knees, feet. What is next? Oh, we're gonna assemble the feet. Number 8. This is the ankle joint that we just made. This one right here. And we're gonna attach these two pieces. Now there's some. This is another thing to look out for in the instructions. Let me get you to where you can see it. We're adding these two pieces, which are G2 and G3. But this little looks like a speech bubble. This means that there's something to do to this part before you put it on. And that's to add PC1 in the hole right here, or in the, that's where it'll attach. So we need G2 and G3, which I have somewhere. Where did I put G? Where did I put the G's? Ah, there we are. So we need 2 and 3. All right. Oh, hey, that reminds me of something. We were talking about the trees and or the sprues and the what the markings mean. You know, you got your, this is the designation of the G sprue, but over here on this side, ABS. Can you guys read that? I don't know if you can read that. ABS. I don't know. You probably can't read it. What that denotes the kind of plastic that this sprue is made of. And just to grab this one, does this one tell you? This one does not tell you. I can't believe that. Bandai is usually really good about putting what kind of plastic it is. Well, actually, the instructions will tell you. On the back of the instructions, I don't know if I pointed this out the other day. This is every sprue included in the kit, and it'll tell you. Sorry, it'll tell you. Where is it? Right here. It says PS. That stands for polystyrene, and that is the kind of plastic that nearly every sprue is, except this one, the G, except the G. For some reason, that one is an ABS. Now, what does that mean? It means that certain glues or cements will not work on it. So, like, for example, I use Tamiya Extra Thin, and then I also have some Tamiya, this is the regular, you know, gloopy, thick glue. But these won't work on ABS. All it'll do is kind of melt it. This is a welding cement. It's a hot action cement. When you put this on polystyrene, it actually melts the plastic and fuses the two pieces together. That's why it's called a welding cement. On ABS, it'll just melt the plastic. It won't really hold together. It won't really set up properly. Now it will eventually. There have been times where I've been able to put parts together. I put this on it, didn't realize the part was ABS. You know, a lot of not everybody calls it out like this. Most manufacturers don't tell you what kind of plastic it is. But anyway, rubber band the two pieces together, put this stuff on it. It'll set up. Takes about a day. So I'm not going to say that it won't work completely, but it doesn't work. Don't try to glue ABS. They make a cement that's for ABS. It's more akin to like super glue than this stuff. But yeah, so it's you know, Bandai tells you what kind of plastic you're working with. Now on this stuff, this is polystyrene. The instructions said so. But on this stuff, this is beautiful. I mean, you touch a little bit to the edge, put your part together, give it a few seconds to just kind of, you know, harden up, and it's great. You can sand it down once it's done. Well, as a matter of fact, I don't know if we'll probably do it in this episode, but fill some seam lines. You use your glue. Then we'll do that here in a little while. Anyway, back to the part. And we need PC. We have our C1 and 2s. Oh, and again, notice we need 2 of them. So I will grab my other G. And we need 2 and 3. After you do a couple of these mega size, especially the RX-78, you kind of remember what parts go where, and how different parts are built. So like how the foot is constructed, they're really very easy. I don't know if I said it or not, but I think these kits were designed for a younger modeler. There's you know, just like the thing with the knee. You know, if you were to get a perfect grade, this would be, you know, 25 pieces, and you'd have to fully construct all the little bits, and it's a little more detailed, but it's a little more complicated. This just strikes me as it's meant to be for the kids, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But the detail and the size are so much fun to paint and customize, which, you know, I don't know if you're like me, the building of the kit is just kind of the first thing you got to do before you can have any real fun. Once it's built and you can, you know, plan your paint scheme and customize it, and that's the real fun. You know, this part's just, so these mega size kits, they make it easy. They make it quick. And then you can get on to the real fun. So we needed, what did we need? I've been rambling. We need PC1. And we need 4 of them because we need 2 of these, and there's 2 in each. You'll see in a minute. Once you do them, it all makes sense. So we have our part, and PC1, it has little hash marks that says, hey, pay attention. I'm supposed to go in this way. You might have it in focus. So, as you can see in there, there's a little, can you see in there? There's a little, there it is, a little slot. PC1 fits right in the slot, just like that. And we do that to all 4 of the pieces for the ankle. Just like that. Well, this one doesn't want to go. Oh, gracious. You know we're on camera. You're supposed to just work. Just like that. There we go. Man. Alright. So we have those. And according to the instructions, we need a skinny one and a fat one. And if you can tell, we have two kind of big fat ones. And we have two skinny ones. So they go together with the ankle. Looks like the fat one goes on the front. Right. And the skinny one goes on the back. There you go. That's an ankle. This is the way it'll work. This will be inside the foot, and you'll have a little side-to-side motion with your foot because of that rocker joint. Pretty neat, huh? Alright, where's the other one? This fat goes on the front. You can tell the front because it's got this dome. That's how you know front to back. Or look at the instructions. That'll tell you which is front and back. Alright. Two ankles. What is next? Alright, now we're going to build some upper feet. We need C2 and C5, but again, we've got, it says, hey, do this before you assemble it. More PC1s. So, C runner, where are you? C. And again, we need two. So we're going to do all this twice. So C2 and C5, which are these two pieces right here. White plastic is great. When you're cutting and sanding, you know how on these it left a little teeny white fleck? That's where the plastic stretches. It gets cut and it kind of pulls the plastic a little bit. On white plastic, they're invisible. So as long as you can't feel the nub, you'll never see the nub. But again, Bandai is usually pretty good about, and you'll never see this because this is going to sit down in. See, it's going to, once it's all assembled, that's going to fit down inside there. So really the only nub that you're going to see was this one on the back. Other than that, everything's hidden. That's how Bandai hides their nubs. They put them in places that aren't going to show. Which I can't even see where that... Yeah, I can't even see where that nub went. I know there's one here. Never see that. And one here. Never see that. Alright, anyway. And we need some PC1s. Which, like I said, this whole side is PC1. So we'll need 4 of those eventually. And you know what, before we get into that, let's go ahead and cut our other, this is the second C runner. And it's the same 2 parts. 2 and 3. Or, I'm sorry, 2 and 5. 2 and 5. Well, I really am just cutting these off so that it fits properly. If there's a little bump, it may not fit down in the groove. But that looks pretty good. So Bandai does a pretty good job of, you know, not having super obvious nubs and gate marks. Sorry, there's a little. All right. So now each one of these, and if you'll notice inside, there's the same kind of circle with a line through it that matches this part. Can you see that? There's a circle with a line through it. And that'll fit right in, just like that. Do that to all four. Alright, now those go on either side. You have 2 and 5. I don't remember which one is which off the top of my head, but they fit together to form a foot. So we take our ankle with the front, with the front facing forwards, of course, and goes in there like this. And it goes in there like this. There we go. Alright, now right away, well, let me get this. See, this will go on there, and that's a foot. But right away, this is a seam line that I'll want to remove. Maybe not so much down here because it almost looks like panel line. But definitely, where did my pointer go? I've lost my stick. Sorry about that. Where these two pieces come together, that's called a seam line. And like this doesn't look horrible because it almost looks like there's 2 panels. But going across here, I don't know if you can make that out, but having that seam there, this should be 1 panel, and even this has a little bit of a bump. And then on the back, you know, of course that's supposed to be 1 piece of material. It shouldn't be a seam here. So we're gonna take care of those once we get everything assembled. One thing to consider though is if we seal these pieces, we'll have to paint this in place, or we'll have to fully paint this, the ankle bit, you know, because we'd never get down in there. Fully paint this, install it, mask it, or finish painting it, mask it all off, assemble it, take care of these seam lines, and then paint this after this is done. But there is a third option. With these mega size RX-78s, since the sole of the foot pops off, we can get to the ankle from underneath the foot. And what does that mean? Well, that means that we can actually trim down, I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing, we can trim down these areas here where that post slots in, and we'll be able to pop this out from the bottom, and then we'll glue this together. We'll paint the white. We can paint this anytime, you know, we can paint it right along with everything else, because once it's all painted, we'll be able to push it in from the bottom and it'll lock in place. You'll see what I mean. I'm not describing that very well. You'll see what I mean when we get there. But there are places where you can do little mods just to make it easier on you. So again, we'll talk about that later when we get to that part. So then we need this one made. Same thing. They pop on either side, snap together. The same exact part. Bam. Now we have 2 finished feet.